We do not have any evidence that there is a serial killer loose in Houston, Texas.
You also don't have any evidence that there isn't one. In fact, one could say there's more evidence that there is one than there isn't one.
We weren't able to find any kind of typical pattern. It runs the gamut, genders, ethnicities, age range.
They always found in the water, and it's hard to tell how they died. There you go, bam, pattern. But you don't want that. You rather make up a story that can't nobody fucking believe. And I'm just saying, don't worry about it. We on it. We on it. Hey y'all, it's your girl J9 Eve. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, get into the comments. Let me know what you think about this. So in Houston, there's been some suspicion, which is not the first time, that there's a serial killer, which is not something we commonly hear about anymore. We don't really hear about serial killers anymore. And I think it's because, you know, the police are really not trying to put in that type of work. You know what I'm saying? Trying to track down a serial killer. It's easier to just, you know, say, oh no, they might all be separate and just way too hard to solve, or just pin it on whoever's walking by. But either way, okay? So in Houston, Texas, and I've lived in Houston, Texas for a little bit of time, 3-4 months at some point when I was in my 20s. I lived in Houston, and they have these, they're called bayous. They're like these little trenches. Basically, if you ever saw the Transformers movie, it's where they pinned down Bumblebee when the helicopters, and they pinned them down, and you know, and they captured them. You know, it's like the cement things, and then that's all the water that just kind of runs through, and they run all over Houston, right? And that's what those are. They're like these concrete, basically huge concrete ditches. So apparently they've been finding bodies for a while now. Now up to the number of 13, I think they're at. So now, you know, they do a lot of, you know, shoving stuff under the rug, trying to pretend like it's somebody, they just fell in, they just drowned. It's just a drowning, you know, they drowned and the water hit them in the head, you know. The water hit them in the head and then they drowned. It's like, that's not really how water works, but okay, whatever. But, okay, just recently there was a girl, a college kid, okay, who was out with some friends. Weird story. We'll get into it though. But she goes missing. She walks away from a gas station. She's at a bar. She walks to a gas station, and then somehow here she is in the fucking bayou. Now, luckily, her parents are like not the type to just go and accept that shit. And so it has gone viral. So that's how, you know, and that's the only way to make anybody do their fucking job. Let's just be real, okay? Like, so we're gonna go through a couple of these news clips, and then I got a little bit of Poet Flacco telling this one particular point that I think is fascinating. So we're gonna work our way through that. That's what we're gonna do. We got a serial killer in Houston. We gotta figure it out.
Well, Mayor John Whitmire and Houston Police Chief Noe Diaz just wrapped up a news conference updating the public on bodies recently found in Houston bayous.
Fox 26's Leslie Delaspore is live at HPD headquarters. Leslie, what did they have to say?
Yeah, Mayor Whitmire says no evidence of a serial killer on the loose in Houston. The mayor also said that the 5 drownings are alarming and one is even too many, but people need to give HPD time to investigate and update the cases. The mayor said there are over
13. Jesus. Give them time. Once they get to 65 bodies, they're going to look into it. Don't you worry.
2,500 miles of bayous in Houston, and sometimes when the homeless pass, they end up in the bayou. He also talked about how alcohol.
When the homeless? Oh, okay. Well, you know, sometimes homeless people end up in there. You know, sometimes college kids who live in dorms are homeless. You know, do the math on that one. You know what I'm saying? Give it some time. You gonna bring up the homeless people? You know, that's how you know they ain't looking into it. Nobody looks into anything when they think it's something happening to homeless people. They're trying to figure out a way to exterminate them right now. Like, this is where we're at. These are the times we're in. Okay? For all we know, this could be the plan they came up with. I'm just saying. I'm just tossing out some. I just pieced those two things together. Okay, I won't put it past them. Put it to you like that. Sign at a time, sonny. Sign at a time. But this is a college kid, so bringing up the homeless people and how they end up in a bayou is just not selling me the story. Okay.
plays a role and how mental health plays a role. He said sometimes foul play also plays a role, but often not. He says he's working right now to get more homeless folks in shelters, and at the appropriate time, more information will come out on these cases. Now, Chief Noe Diaz says at this time there's no evidence to suggest that any of the 5 bodies found recently are connected. He said that the medical examiner's office will determine the cause of death, but rumors like the ones that have spread across social media recently stir fear and anxiety in our community.
Yeah, what they do, they stir them having to do their fucking job. They stir the media, everybody watching them to see if they're doing their goddamn job. They stir them being constantly asked, well, what have you come up with? What are you looking into? So that they can see that they're not looking into anything. They don't have anything new because they haven't been checking. Because they don't care. They don't care. It hasn't hit the population that they fucking worry about yet. Honestly, nowadays, even they need to be concerned because they don't seem to care when it happens to them either. So, I mean, you know, that particular population that's usually feeling safe, I mean, they don't seem like they're looking out for them neither right now. So I'm just saying, y'all might need to be looking out too, because it ain't looking good.
Now, a captain with HPD's homicide team says there is no typical pattern in gender or ages or races of the victims found over the last week. He also says that there are a lot of recent cases that they don't have any identification yet and they're waiting on the autopsy, or they're working to notify next of kin. He also adds that just because
they're all humans, there's a match. Well, yeah, they're all being found in the water. Yeah, it's always mysterious, none of which we know what happened, but they don't have anything in common. They're humans. They're all humans. They're all humans. You know what I'm saying? That's
the medical examiner's office is still pending their autopsy, and they're waiting on autopsies doesn't mean the investigation stops, and HPD continues to work these cases. But take a listen to the message from Mayor Whitmire.
okay.
We do not have any evidence that there is a serial killer loose in Houston, Texas.
You also don't have any evidence that there isn't one. In fact, one could say there's more evidence that there is one than there isn't one. Neither of which you know the answers to, sir. Okay? You don't have any answers. So just say that. Say, I don't know, man. I'm just, I'm thinking about my own personal issues, my own personal life. I ain't really worried about this here work I'm supposed to be doing. Just say that if that's what it is.
Let me say it again. There
Wanna
is
get paid
no
to do
evidence
nothing. To do
that there is
nothing.
a serial killer loose on the streets of Houston.
Okay, you just
If there was, you would hear it from me first.
fuck it. That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. Because you won't even humor the idea. Why is everybody coming up with this conclusion except for you? And we're supposed to believe that if you thought there was a chance, you would tell. Hell no. Y'all are not in the business of telling people that they need to be looking out, because that's going to force the police to have to do their goddamn job. And they don't want to do that. They want to be victims. They want to act. It's like, Jesus. Like, oh my God. This is the world we live in, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
This is being held to make certain that everyone knows we operate in my administration and HPD in total transparency.
Okay.
What we know and can release to you, you will know as soon as anyone.
Okay.
Now, again, the mayor and police chief also tell us that they're asking people to stop spreading false information.
I like this hair color. I know that's off topic. I might have to go light brown. That's cute.
On social media or in the public, and it's important to stick with the facts.
Well, Houston police are investigating another tragic find, a woman's body recovered from Buffalo Bayou. Scooter riders first spotted the body just after midnight at Commerce Street and Milam Street in downtown. This is the 6th body recovered from a Houston bayou since last Monday.
Hysteria and misinformation online have fueled speculation over a possible serial killer in Houston. It is a fair question given the frequency of bodies recovered from the city's bayous, but both HPD and Mayor John Whitmire insist there is no evidence of a serial killer. Investigators say there is no evidence as of yet to.
And the serial killer is somewhere sitting thinking, oh, well, good. I don't need to be worried about this next 12 bodies that I dropped, because, the police they ain't even looking for me. They ain't even looking for me. They ain't even checking. I just be roaming around out there on the side. Like, they walk past me 12 times. Anybody ask me shit. They ain't even looking. In fact, they said, I ain't even did nothing. That's it. They done told the news people. So let me go on and drop some more.
Link
Who's
these
next?
6 deaths either.
But some people are still suspicious, as you can imagine. They want to know how investigators can be so sure the deaths are not connected.
Exactly.
JPRC2 reporter Joy Addison has answers. Joy, you spoke with a criminal justice professor.
Well, Keith and Danny, that's right. I wanted her to weigh in now that 15 bodies have been found in Houston area bayous this year so far. 6 of those found since last Monday, and one of those just last night. She says serial killers are rare and have very specific patterns. And
Yeah, the pattern is that they have a pattern. You don't know what this pattern is. What if this pattern is like differences? Like what just follow me down the road here. What if there's a serial killer? Like, you looking for them to have a specific pattern. They all have the same hair color. They kill them the same way. They find their bodies looking in the same position. This type of shit we see on TV. But what if this particular serial killer's MO is variety? What if his is variety? What if that's it? Like, what if it's variety? What if he has problems choosing, making decisions? What if he's terrible at decision making and he just likes variety? You ain't even gonna humor the idea? You ain't gonna maybe set up some extra surveillance, you know what I'm saying? Get people watching the bayous. If the pattern is they keep finding the bodies in the water. So this is the areas where you would, hone in security, like as far as videos and stuff like that, kind of having things pointing in directions of water areas. You ain't even got to really put up a whole bunch of other cameras. Just have the cameras, have some of them be facing in those directions. But no, you too busy saying, oh, it ain't a serial killer, so we ain't gonna pay no mind to it. Basically.
in this case can be ruled out even though we don't know the specific causes of death just yet.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Police say last week, 5 bodies were found in a 5-day period. 4 of the 6 bodies found in the last 2 weeks are unidentified. One of them was University of Houston student Jade McKissick, and one is still pending family notification.
In all of the 5 incidents, the medical examiner's office will determine the cause of death.
But police have told us there is no connection and they don't suspect foul play.
There's still work that detectives can do.
How do you not suspect foul play when you don't know how they died yet? You ain't got the medical examiner's reports yet, so you don't know how they died. But ain't nothing happened. They just, I guess they got raptured. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, how can you say you don't think it was foul play, but you don't know how they died? You don't know why they died. You don't know if they were strangled. Who do you know that does this to themselves and it just pass on? Like, who do you know? Who have you ever seen do that? I'm just saying. Oh my God, I hate that. Wear your suit, go buy your nice suit, go get you some nice ties just to go to your job and not do that, motherfucker. That's what you're gonna go to work to not do your job. Oh my God, I can't stand it.
While that ruling is coming forward, interview witnesses, document what the scene looked like, try to recover surveillance footage, any digital evidence that we can find.
Mayor Whitmire was adamant that no one needs to worry about a serial killer and admonished people for spreading misinformation online. We went to a local.
Well, we wouldn't have to spread information, okay, online if you bothered to do your job. Do something. Say something. You don't even know how they died. You can't say how they died, then you don't know how they didn't die. So why are you saying it's not homicide? Why? But you don't want nobody spreading misinformation. Oh my God, I can't stand it, y'all.
Criminologist who explains why a serial killer has been ruled out.
For something like a serial killer to happen, there needs to be commonality between the victims.
No, there needs to be a pattern established by the killer. Okay? Ye of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's a fucking movie. It's when people who watch like this person would be called an expert because she likes horror stuff. What the fuck? The Texas Chainsaw Halloween, Michael Myers ain't real. Michael Myers ain't real. Okay? If you are figuring all this out based on Halloween, okay, you watching scary movies does not make you an expert. Okay? It's a pattern established by the killer. It's a pattern of familiarity established by the killer. Okay? If his pattern is variety, Bitch, your whole theory goes thrown out the window. I'm just saying. You don't know. Okay? Get some sun. What the fuck? Like, what? Why? Never mind.
Serial killer tends to focus on a particular age, race, gender, occupation when they operate.
Is what the serial killer would like for you to think, so he can keep killing people. I don't know. This person on the screen looking suspicious to me. I don't know. Does this not look like it? I'm sorry. Like, why she got Michael Myers mask on? I'm sorry. This to me feels like misinformation. What she's saying right now feels like misinformation. It just do.
We weren't able to find any kind of typical pattern. It runs the gamut, genders, ethnicities, age range.
And when it comes to why all of these bodies have been found in such a short period of time, she says things that affect decomposition, like the weather and temperatures or other objects also in the water, can play a factor.
Bodies can sink, and then when they start to decompose, the gases make them rise, then they become more visible. Sometimes bodies get caught on things and may not come into view until later.
Now, here's a theory, just to throw it out there. Sometimes it's not who the victim is that gets them. Maybe sometimes victims don't get picked. Sometimes victims cross an area, and that's why they get picked off. So what if it's not that they're being like the whole serial killer theory runs into the idea of that they're finding a person based on whatever their characteristic is, choosing them to do that to. But what if it's more so a thing of where the fact that they keep finding them in the water is more of a sign of that this is somebody who lurks around the water, who works with the water, who works with the water system, who like does something to do with cleaning the water, cleaning the bayou, something like that. Someone who has something to do with the water. Okay, this is what this will be a sign of. It's a thing of convenience. If it's a killer, okay, who's working in a serial motion, which, a lot. He's doing it a lot. But it's a thing of convenience. Her wandering over there could be why she got picked. Not because of what she looked like, because her and the last one had the same hair color and height and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could be a thing of convenience. Do your fucking job. The first thing, if this was a TV series, okay, they would be like, it's probably somebody who works with the water, something, and and then they would go around interviewing those people. But no, y'all don't want to do your job.
Now, at a Tuesday press conference, the mayor says investigators are certain that alcohol, personal issues, and homelessness played a role in some of the deaths, but he says this does not apply to all of them. Reporting from the newsroom, Joy Addison, KPRC 2 News.
Authorities say surveillance video appears to have captured the last moments of 20-year-old University of Houston student Jade McKissick's life. She was found dead yesterday after being reported missing earlier this month. Out of respect for Jade and her family, KPRC 2 News will not air the entire clip. KPRC 2 News reporter Rochelle Turner returned to the scene where Jade McKissick was last seen to retrace her final moments. She's joining us now live with the latest. Rochelle?
Daniela, there's still more questions than answers. We've been at this gas station you see right here behind me all day, and people have been asking us about Jade, telling us that they've been seeing her story all over the news. But Jade was seen right here in this parking lot. These were the last moments that anyone seen her, and we saw surveillance video. I'm going to cross the street safely to show you just how this all kind of played out. We do know that this is still under investigation, but video shows her walking towards Brays Bayou, which is right over here. And at this hour, police tell us that her death is under investigation. There's no foul play and no trauma, but it's still a lot of questions surrounding her death. We do know that she came here to that gas station. She went inside to purchase a beverage, and then she walked right over here. But we just don't know exactly how she died.
And that's some shit. We know that she walked over here, and then the grass ate her. I don't know. She just disappeared. Come on, man. I mean, this seems like it would be an easy place to find a killer. Like what's the chances that they would just happen to be over here in this area? She goes walking by. More than likely, they're going to be someone who lives in this close proximity. Someone who has some kind of something to do with this water, with these bayous. Somebody who just really, really, for some reason, feels like this is a great place to hide a body. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be somebody who works in some kind of route that's associated with rides along, maybe, I don't know, this bus behind her is what set my brain there.
Been speaking to people all day, some of them saying something's just not adding up.
Yeah.
Others say that there's been a lot of deaths here in Brays Bayou. So we did reach out to Houston Police for more information, but right now they tell us that it's still under investigation. This is Jade Sage McKissick. The 20-year-old University of Houston student was last seen on September the 11th around 1 o'clock in the morning, right along North McGregory Way in 3rd Ward. According to Houston Police, he had spent the evening with friends at local bars and then left by herself and also left her cell phone. From there, she walks to this gas station. The clerk showed us video of her going inside and getting a slushie. She walks out these doors and walks into the parking lot. And this picture from surveillance shows Jade circled in green.
Okay, all right. So here's her walking through the parking lot, and she walks across here. She goes straight across, and apparently that is where you walk across the street, and there's the grass, and there's the bayou thing. And somehow she ends up in there. She doesn't have her cell phone. She left it at the bar, which is weird as hell. How do you leave your cell phone at the bar? How do you sit your cell phone down on a table at the bar? Like, how does that? Who does that? Nobody ever. But then her walk-in, it's like, and whose white pickup truck is this? I don't know. I'm just saying it's Texas white pickup truck. It's my worst nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Who's driving this truck? Who saw her walk by off into the shadows? I say, who's driving this white pickup truck? You know what I'm saying? Who's that? Who is? Oh my God. It sucks to be a girl sometimes. I know some of the victims are dudes too, but it really sucks to be a girl sometimes. It really do. I'm just saying. You can't go nowhere.
In the far right corner of your screen, it's the last time she was seen, according to police. It shows her walking towards Brays Bayou. To give you some perspective, the gas station is about 100 yards away from Brays Bayou. I'm gonna actually walk and see how long it takes me to get there. That video was sped up, but it took me about 27 seconds to walk from the front entrance to the intersection of McGregor Way and Scott Street. This camera right here at the end of the gas station shows Jade walking towards the left of the bayou, and then she goes out of frame. Sadly, 4 days later, Jade's body was found in the bayou about 2.5 miles from the gas station. Police said an autopsy revealed no signs of trauma or foul play, and the cause of her death is under investigation. Jade was a junior who was studying strategic communications and advertising. She was part of the 2025 UH orientation team and worked on campus as a front desk assistant.
Yeah, because her father apparently worked at the college too. Oh my gosh. What in the world, bro? No place is safe is the moral of the story. Because that's what I get from it. What y'all think? Y'all think it's a serial killer in Houston? Is it given serial killer? Or is it given the ground is collapsing, swallowing people, and it ended up in the water flow, and then that's how they end up in the bayou? What you think?
So again, just another live look here at Brays Bayou, where police recovered the body of Jade McKissick. And just to give you that perspective again, just to kind of show you how close we are to this Shell gas station where she was seen on camera going in and getting something to drink. She goes out. She walks out of frame from this area, and then her body is found 4 days later.
I'm just saying.
A lot of questions surrounding her death. We know Houston police and the medical examiners
who is that behind
to try to
you?
figure out exactly how she died. Now, we have learned that there will be a memorial for Jade this Monday on September.
I'm gonna tell you this: if I was that cameraman, I would have panned. I would have been like, She'd have been like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna need this footage later. I don't." That was weird what he just did. That's what.
22nd, it's going to be held at a park on the University of Houston's campus. You could read more details on our website at clicktohouston.com.
What's more convenient for them? To write this off as, hey, man, this chick did this to herself, or to try to investigate or piece together 12 homicides that was found in LA. They probably don't want to do the work to investigate a serial killer and trace every lead. But what we're not going to do, we're not going to go by this theory of, hey, because Jade posted a couple of cryptic messages on her Instagram, that this means she wanted to do this to herself.
Yeah, not to mention her doing, like, climbing into bio water, jumping off a little bridge that falls into a bayou that ain't even deep enough to go down into. You just gonna be, your feet gonna hit the ground. That's equivalent to jumping off of your 1-story house roof to try to end it all. Like, it ain't gonna happen. You just gonna break something and be very inconvenienced. It ain't gonna work. The fact that they would even try to entertain that, so they digging in her social media to try to find something that shows some type of sign, give some type of thought that maybe she just did it to herself. Because heaven forbid you have to do your fucking job. Heaven forbid. Okay? And it shows clearly that she was not one of those people. What they had to come up with, the things that they came up with to use as cryptic messages don't even indicate. They don't even almost kind of sound like it.
You guys want to know the cryptic message? The police believes that this is a sign that this was something intentional that she inflicted on herself. Let's take a look.
Sometimes I see myself failing in the future and it worries me, but people always tell me I have nothing to worry about. She went on to say, I'm always giving solid, sound advice to people, and y'all still don't listen. My grandma told me I'm wise beyond my years, and if you know Black grandmas, this is a high honor. Then y'all want to come crying to me when stuff comes falling to your knees. I literally have no pity. She made another confession, and she said, listen up. Y'all gonna hate me for this one, but I peep everything. Game recognizes game. If you think you got one over on me, think smarter. She also said, whenever I go home, I usually go in my room in the dark and cry. I don't cry often, and I never have a long time until I go back home. You can imagine how stuff accumulates. And then she said, I wish I could go back and tell myself something at every age. Knowing what I know now, I could have saved myself from a lot of stupid decisions. And Jade's confession number 7 was, I usually hate people, but I can't live without my mom, dad, or grandma. If they gone, just take me out. I promise you I won't care. Now, Jade's family and friends have come forward to say that they do not believe that there was no foul play involved in her death because she was a happy 20-year-old girl and she had a very promising future. She went out with friends and they planned on going to different bars. From there, Jade ends up leaving the bar to go to the gas station to get a drink, which her family doesn't understand. Because if she was at a bar where there were drinks available, why would Jade leave the bar where she was at with friends and leave her cell phone?
Her leaving her cell phone, the only thing I read into that is she was drunk. But her being drunk doesn't really mean anything in this situation. All that really means is she was an easier victim. Drunk people are more susceptible to being victimized, especially drunk women.
Yeah, that exactly. She wasn't, she had everything to live for. She's in school with bright mind, not a hussy. Not that that makes a difference, but you know how people are. Well, she should have been home, and she's out there, dressing like a doo-doo-doo. And there she is, looking 3 times bigger than she is because of how big her sweatsuits are. Okay, sneakers. Okay, not pumps. Okay, not open toe. All right, she out there living her life in her divine. And now the police want to find some kind of way to make it, to sell it to the world that she was so miserable that she jumped off of a the equivalent of one-story bridge thing into a concrete bayou with hardly any water in it, thinking that was gonna end it all. This is a college kid, not a fucking idiot. Okay? Okay? Only an absolute moron would think that would end it. Okay? Even drunk, you're not gonna think that. So come up with something else and stop insulting us with that. Okay? If you got a serial killer in Houston, do something about it. Deal with it. The public, you are living in a time the police should be utilizing the internet, not scolding everybody for trying to figure this shit out, because they're not. The police could be using that. Everyone with a phone, everyone with a nosy spirit, those are investigators. We could solve everything. Y'all, what's y'all's crime, rate thing? No, y'all not solving shit. Y'all out there can't solve stuff because people won't tell you what happened. Give it to the fucking internet. Go figure it out. Give it to us. We'll piece it together. We will piece it together and we will clean up your crime investigation success, conviction rate. We'll fix that for you. But no, you don't want that. You want to be in power enough to tell us what to do, what we can't do, what the laws are, but you don't want to do your job, which is to solve the crime, so to make it safe. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that though. But what you ain't gonna do is try to sell us that this girl did anything to her fucking self, and you're gonna have to get off your ass and do your job on this one. You're gonna have to find you a serial killer. I'm just saying, that's what you're gonna have to do. So just accept that. Get on it. Get on it. Just do it. Okay? It is in my opinion that there is a serial killer. There's very likely a serial killer in Houston. Okay? Now what their reason is, okay? I don't know how they pick their victims. It could be random. It could be just a crime of convenience. It could be a serial killer of convenience. I don't care if you call him a serial. You could call him a mass one then if you need to. There's somebody who kills a bunch of people. But it's just a matter of who just shows up. You show up next to the bayou and he see you, then he drag you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the pattern. There is a pattern where the bodies are. How about that? How about the pattern is you can't tell what happened to them, but we find them in the water. How about that? How about that's the pattern? You want a pattern so bad so you can call it a serial killer. There you go. There's your pattern. They always found in the water and it's hard to tell how they died. There you go. Bam. Pattern. But you don't want that. You don't want that. You rather make up a story that can't nobody fucking believe. And I'm just saying, don't worry about it. We on it. Y'all behave. Keep an eye on this. Absolutely. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Y'all think everybody's overreacting? You think the internet is just being the internet, right now, and we just digging deep? Or you think what this man is saying is making sense to you, that a college kid comes to the conclusion to jump off of not a bridge, not like but like a little tiny little thing into a little bit of water and think that's going to end it all? That makes sense to you? Y'all let me know in the comments. Is it BS or no? Okay. Y'all behave, because I'm not going to do it. Absolutely not. Okay. But mama love you. Yes, she do. Oh, well, be careful out there because it's crazy. Okay.